According to the former Secretary General of the General Assembly, Kofi Annan, at the close of the World War II, many had thought the horrors and atrocities committed during the war could never happen again. But it's very unfortunate to see the repetition of these atrocities in Bosnia, Cambodia, and Rwanda. And that became reason for the support and consensus among nations to respond in the formal formation of the court. After the International Criminal Court was inaugurated, Kofi Annan explained the significance of the International Criminal Court as human life, human dignity, human rights raised above even the estranged concept of state sovereignty. The International Criminal Court is potentially the most important human rights institution created in 50 years. The International Criminal Court is a court of last resort, established to investigate and prosecute persons who committed war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. The International Criminal Court was established in Rome under the Rome Statute in 1998, and it began its official sitting on the 1st of July 2002. The International Criminal Court was ratified by 120 member countries. The International Criminal Court sits in the Netherlands at Hague. It is evident the intention and aims of the International Criminal Court are good, but sadly, it has failed to make or improve justice in the world.
It is worth acknowledging the success of both tribunals of Rwanda and Yugoslavia for delivering justice to the world by convicting several criminals of the war for several crimes against humanity, war crimes and genocide. This is according to Richard J. and friends in 2009. With almost a decade since the International Criminal Court was established, and with a budget of almost £1 billion, alongside 766 staff at disposal, the International Criminal Court managed to come out with just one verdict, who the perpetrator was the Congolese military Thomas Lubanga. Today, exactly 2 decades since its existence, the International Criminal Court has spent more than £1.5 billion and has just managed, if not boast of, just 8 convictions with 4 acquittals, with all the located resources. The question that has been raised is it fit for purpose? Unfortunately, it has failed to accomplish a high level of prosecutions, therefore deny the world the needed justice it deserved. In addition to this, it has also been a geographical disproportion in its prosecution. It has been observed that the court is particularly keen on taking action against the violator of human rights in Africa. Although there is a gross human rights violation on almost all the continent, the emphasis of the International Criminal Court has been on Africa only. This has raised obviously concerns in quarters about the credibility of the International Criminal Court, and many unfortunately have termed it as a tool of the West. No wonder why most of African countries like South Africa, Burundi, Zimbabwe, if not already done so, are considering of removing itself as a member of the International Criminal Court. Furthermore, there's been a total failure or lack of cooperation among ratified states. For example, Omar al-Bashir of Sudan was able to travel through many ratified states of the International Criminal Court, even with international warrant order for his arrest or capture, but managed to cross borders with no issues. Moreover, Bashir was able to travel internationally. He made visits to Qatar and Egypt. Both of these countries declined to obey the international order, and Bashir also was able to visit Chad in 2010. Guess what? Chad is also a member of the International Criminal Court ratified states. This lack of cooperation obviously has increased more injustice rather than bringing justice to the world. There's also a question of bias leveled against the ICC regards to crime committed by individuals. It is also to be noted that certain quarters in the Muslim as well as the Western nations have raised their concerns about the prosecution of the former US President George W. Bush along with his British counterpart Tony Blair after the 9/11 incident and their intervention in Iraq and Afghanistan. It has been estimated by the UN-backed Iraqi Family Health Survey that 151,000 violent deaths in the period between March 2003 and June 2006 did occurred. Meanwhile, the Lancet Journal in 2006 published an estimate of 654,965 excess Iraqi deaths related to the war, of which 601,027 were caused by violence. Both this and the family survey include deaths of Iraqis combatants as well as civilians. The ICC has been conceived as a way to supplement or circumvent state power in order to protect populations within states, but unfortunately have done little, and if any, to assist the civilians who have been caught up or targeted in civil wars, for example in Syria and Sri Lanka. In Syria, it is estimated that 190,000 people have been killed since 2011, many of them non-combatants, including sadly 8,000 children, and chemical weapons have also been used on the civilian population. In Sri Lanka, tens of thousands of civilians have been killed during the last weeks of the civil war in 2009. Despite this widespread support for the International Criminal Court, sadly, it has failed to bring meaningful action either to protect those under threat or to prosecute those who have committed atrocities.
To conclude, this presentation has explored the rationale and mandate of the International Criminal Court and have analyzed how effective the International Criminal Court has been able to achieve its purpose after it was established. Given the nature that the International Criminal Court made huge financial investments to investigate and prosecute individuals accused of genocide, war crimes, and crime against humanity, it is with such disappointment that they were unable to obtain huge number of prosecutions as expected. Also, as mentioned by my teammate Francis, the International Criminal Court's credibility over the past years has been questioned due to their actions. As a team, we believe that the International Criminal Court hasn't done its best to be effective. However, we suggested that for the ICC to be effective, states must cooperate. The role of civil societies cannot be underestimated. Either civil societies are indeed a key in connecting with victims with the ICC and making sure that the evidence of the atrocities is delivered to the ICC as soon as possible, so that the ICC can make the considerations whether to open preliminary examinations or to help to open official investigations. And finally, the International Criminal Court's perceived authority has been severely hindered by its impotence, corruption, and loss of relevance, leaving it in a desperate need of significant reform. All told, the challenges faced by the International Criminal Court represent important lessons for diplomats, scholars, and visionaries alike. As long as these lessons can be implemented through meaningful reform, there is hope for the organization. In time and under capable of leadership, they will only serve to strengthen the institution and its resolve in an era when international justice is more polarizing than ever.